Hello, and welcome to Tea is Good, Books Are Better, the podcast where we drink tea and talk about books. I'm Raven.
And I'm Jess.
And I'm sick as a dog. So if you hear it in my voice, that's why. I feel like I sound super nasally, but...
Yeah.
Oh, you think so? I was gonna be like, but my friends don't think so, but I guess they're just being fucking nice to me.
I tell you the hard truth.
Yeah, I sound like... gross. And at work when I'm trying to be like authoritative and stuff, I'm like, please do your jobs. Not very intimidating. Anyway. So I'll try and cut out my own sniffles and coughs and stuff as much as I can. But
nice.
We'll see. I probably won't be able to get them all. So this is an apology in advance. I feel like we're the grossest podcasters.
Excuse me. Speak for yourself.
We make the grossest noises.
Everyone makes gross noises.
Okay. Alright. What's new with you, Jess?
Thanksgiving in Canada.
Oh, yeah.
Woot. Just pigging out with two families.
Yeah.
Yours and ours.
Yours?
Ours
Whoa.
and Johnny's.
I see how it is. Yeah. Who had the better food?
Mom?
Yeah.
I really like stuffing. And
they don't make
they
stuffing
do
here?
the box stuff, right? You just add water.
Ew.
So it's like spongy stuff. I don't like it.
I guess
like
that's
Mom's
probably
good
really
stuff.
rude of me to be like, eh.
No,
Because I don't fucking cook.
I mean, not everyone likes to cook stuffing, but I think it's easy and I think it's delicious. When made from scratch. You just don't like onions. Yeah.
And like, it's mushy bread. Who wants mushed up bread? Have you ever heard of toast? That is the perfect food. Why would you want the opposite of toast?
Excuse you.
No, excuse you. Okay. Oh, I did go to a friend's place recently and we made donuts.
Yeah, you told me.
Yeah, we made them triangular shaped because it's the perfect way to eat food. There's 3 angles. You just bite, bite, bite. Unlike an actual, like, round donut, where if you bite into it, it, like, gets all over your cheeks and shit.
And then you look like a child.
Yeah, fuck that. So, we made these amazing donuts, and then he made this homemade caramel sauce, and it was literally the best thing I've ever eaten. Like, you know how people say, oh, I would kill for that, like, blah, blah, blah. I would literally kill for these donuts. I would murder a man.
Are you gonna murder
for these donuts?
him?
Murder him? No, because then he can't make me that caramel sauce. Question. Would you rather have a direwolf or a dragon?
Probably a direwolf.
Whoa! Okay, I'm glad I asked.
Dragons are too much maintenance.
I thought it was a dumb question because I was like, of course she'd say a dragon. Who wouldn't want a dragon?
Me.
Interesting. Okay. Just because dragons are too much maintenance?
I think so. They're
That's
so
it?
big. And like, it takes a lot of responsibility to be a dragon friend.
Why?
Mother.
They hunt for themselves.
But who do they hunt?
Oh.
Children?
Good point. I'll still take a dragon.
You take a dragon.
I don't know if I've made it clear on this podcast that dragons are like my thing.
I remember.
They've always been my thing. If there's anything dragon related,
It's your thing.
it's my thing. Yeah. Let's just get into it.
Go.
What are we drinking today, Jess?
It's the peach and ginger stuff we liked so much last time. Because it's flu season, and let's get that ginger in our bellies.
There's a cat hair in mine.
We can switch. I'll drink Bonnie's hair.
I'm sick. I already drunk from it. Ow! I put my finger in it to try and get it out, but it's hot tea.
I thought you got it, and then you ate it.
Oh, no. That was me licking the tea off my finger. Fuck it, I'll just drink it.
Build your immune system.
By drinking cat hair.
Yeah.
Where did we leave off our characters last time?
Ned was saying bye to Cat. They're saying goodbye as she goes back home to Winterfell after.
Are you okay? You look like you're
I'm trying to remember what's going on. After showing him the dagger.
Again.
Stop. After showing him the dagger in the assassin attempt. Not showing him the assassin attempt. Telling him about the assassin attempt.
Assassination attempt.
Assassination attempt. Thanks. My English isn't the best. Good enough for you?
Yeah.
Bran and Rob have a touching moment after Rob makes some promises about visiting Jon Snow together.
Oh, yeah.
On horseback. Dany's pregnant. How do you say?
And she stood up to Viserys.
Oh, yeah. Stood up to Viserys for the first time, and she's no longer afraid of him.
Mm-hmm.
Daria is taking dancing lessons. I forget the dancing master's name.
Syrio Farrell.
Syrio.
That's cereal.
And Jon and Tyrion are BFFs.
And Sansa?
I don't remember Sansa. It's been one chapter and it was so long ago.
She's somewhere in King's Landing.
She's somewhere.
Okay, chapter 25 is Eddard. Eddard is meeting with Grand Maester Pycelle and asks about the manner of Lord Aaron's passing. Just a reminder, Lord Aaron was the previous Hand of the King, in case anyone forgot. Pycelle agrees to tell him what he knows, but first complains about the heat. This summer in Westeros, if we haven't mentioned already, I think we did though, has lasted close to 10 years. Mm-hmm. Pycelle talks about a previous summer, called King Maekar's summer, saying that it was hotter than this one and nearly as long. In its 7th year, the summer broke suddenly, and there was a short autumn and a terrible long winter. So this is some more setup, suggesting the upcoming winter is going to be fucking long and fucking cold. This is clearly important information, because it's coming up a lot. Mm-hmm. Like, over and over and over. Like, in our summaries, I don't think we've covered every time it came up. Because it's...
Yeah, it comes up a lot.
A lot of the time it's spoken in passing, too.
Yeah,
it's coming up a lot. But obviously, significant to the story. Then Pycelle gets into the stuff about Lord Aaron. He explains that he hadn't seemed himself for quite some time, but Pycelle had thought he was just stressed and tired from the job. But now he is less certain that was the reason. Ned asks Pycelle to tell him of Jon Arryn's final illness, so Pycelle says that Lord Aaron came to him one day asking after a certain book, looking as, quote, hale, end quote, and healthy as ever. So I didn't know what hale meant. So I looked it up, and it means strong and healthy, especially of an elderly person. Yeah, interesting that there's a word specifically for that.
For old people looking good.
Yeah.
Hale.
Hi, you looking hale today, Grandpa.
No one's gonna know what the fuck you're saying.
Yeah. Did you know there's a word for the specific act of throwing someone out of a window?
What?
It's called defenestration.
In one ear, out the other. I don't even know that.
What do you mean? This is the funnest word.
It's too much. Defenestration?
Defenestration.
Yeah, fuck that.
The English language is awesome.
It's too much words.
That's one word.
But did it need a word? Did it need a word?
That's my point.
Exactly. Too many words.
Anyway, Lord Aaron was looking hale AF when he came looking for his book. But he also seemed troubled. But he also seemed troubled by something. The next morning he was twisted over in pain, too sick to rise from bed. Ned asks if he said anything during his final hours. Pycelle tells him that he called out the name Robert several times, but no one knew whether he was asking for his son or the king. His wife, Lady Lysa, Catelyn's sister, wouldn't let the boy enter the sick room for fear he would catch the illness. But the king did come, and he sat with Jon Arryn for hours, talking and joking of times past. But Ned asks again about final words. Pycelle says that he gave Jon Arryn milk of the poppy when he realized all hope was lost, and just before he closed his eyes for the last time, Jon Arryn whispered, quote, "The seed is strong," end quote. Pycelle interprets this as a blessing for Jon Arryn's son, Robert. Ned asks if Pycelle believes there was anything unnatural about Lord Arryn's death. Pycelle, who has been Grand Maester of the Seven Kingdoms for nearly 40 years, under King Robert, Aerys Targaryen before him, his father Jaehaerys II before him, and even for a few short months under Jaehaerys' father, Aegon the Fortunate, the fifth of his name, has seen more illnesses than he cares to remember. I wanted to include all that because it's a very impressive resume.
He's an old
man. And
that's why he's got so many chains.
Yeah. He's been doing this job for a long-ass time. But yeah, he's seen more illnesses than he cares to remember, and Jon Arryn's death seems no stranger than any other. Ned brings up that Lysa thought otherwise. She believed her husband's death was sus. But the Grand Maester explains that grief can derange even the strongest of minds, and Lysa was never strong-minded. Burn. Pycelle asks if it wasn't an illness that killed Jon Arryn. What else could it be? And Ned suggests poison. This disturbs Pycelle. He says it is possible, but he doesn't think it likely since Lord Arryn displayed no signs of any of the common poisons. And also, he was loved by everyone. He asks, what sort of monster in man's flesh would dare to murder such a noble lord? Ned says he's heard that poison is a woman's weapon. What in the seven hells does this mean?
Because women can't fight men?
Jesus. Wait till we meet Brienne. I'm so excited for her. She's in the second book, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm so excited for Brienne. Pycelle says he's also heard it the weapon of eunuchs. He then brings up Lord Varys, saying he was born a slave in lists. He tells Ned to never trust in spiders. Jeez Louise.
Hater.
Yeah, there's so many haters. But Ned doesn't need to be told. Varys already gives him the creeps. As Ned is about to leave, he asks to see the book Jon wanted before he fell ill. Pycelle says the book is a tome on the lineages of the great houses, and he will have it sent to Ned's chambers when he finds it. Then Ned asks if the Queen was with Robert and Jon when he died. Pycelle says no. She and the children were heading to Casterly Rock with her father, Lord Tywin Lannister. So Pycelle had to send off a bird with the news to her. As Ned leaves, Pycelle says to Ned to come to him as often as he likes. He is here to serve. And Ned thinks, yes, but whom?
Oh, asking the real question.
Yeah. Ned is he's not trusting anyone at this point. Which is a good thing, I guess.
Smart.
I wish he was even more so like that. On his way back to his chambers, Ned comes across Arya on the steps trying to balance on one leg. When questioned, she explains that Syrio, her dancing instructor, says a water dancer can stand on one toe for hours. Okay.
You imagine
I don't
trying
believe
to
that.
do that.
Fuck that.
Dude, it's like ballet dancers. It's on their toes.
Ew. Not for hours. I mean,
I guess not.
not frozen. If they're moving around, then sure, but...
They still end up with fucked up toes.
Yeah. Ooh. Arya then asks if Bran will come live with them now that he's awake. Yeah. Ned says not for a long time. Bran still needs to regain his strength. Arya then asks what Bran will do when he's of age. He wanted to be a knight, and she asks if he can still be one. Ned says no, but he may someday be the lord of a great holdfast and sit on the king's council. He might raise castles like Bran the Builder, or sail a ship across the sunset sea, or enter the faith and become the High Septon, or he could become the I'm gonna have to bleep that. But Ned sadly thinks that Bran will never run with his wolf again, never lie with a woman, or have sons of his own. Depressing.
Yeah.
Arya wonders if she can be a king's counselor and build castles and become the High Septon. Ned says that she will marry a king and rule his castle, and her sons will be knights and princes and lords. Arya says fuck that and resumes her balancing.
Like, no, that's sans.
Hell yeah. Arya's she might be becoming my favorite. It's between her and Jon for sure. She's so feisty and I love her.
Cute.
Yeah. So Ned leaves Arya and heads to his chambers where he bathes. After he's done, Littlefinger shows up to have a chat. First, he criticizes Sir Barristan Selmy, who is the aged Lord Commander of the Kingsguard. But Ned has a lot of respect for Sir Barristan. I didn't include the criticism. I obviously thought it wasn't important at the time. Littlefinger then explains the reason he's here is that he promised Catelyn he would help Ned in his investigation into Jon Arryn's death. So Littlefinger suggests questioning the Hand's servants. Ned thought they had all traveled back to the Eyrie with Lysa, but Littlefinger says not all of them. There is a pregnant kitchen girl hastily wed to one of Lord Renly's grooms, a stable hand who joined the city watch, a potboy discharged from service for theft, and Lord Arryn's squire. Ned is excited about the squire, since they often know a great deal about the comings and goings of the men they serve. The squire was Sir Hugh of the Vale, Littlefinger tells Ned. Sir Hugh, it seems, was knighted shortly after Lord Arryn's death, so Ned says he shall send for him. This makes Littlefinger roll his eyes. He takes Ned to the window and points out a couple people in the yard below, saying that one reports to Varys and the other reports to the Queen, and they both have a good view of Ned's activities. Littlefinger explains that the Red Keep is full of eyes, and Ned is shooketh. Yeah. Can you imagine being uprooted and taken to some place you don't know, and then learning that you're being spied on
Right?
by all these people?
And you know you're surrounded by enemies and not friends.
Yeah, and you know there's some sort of plot, and you can't trust anybody, and also, like, the one true friend you're supposed to have is an idiot.
He's not even paying attention, and like purposely not paying attention.
Yeah.
Like, he knows. I'm sure he knows, but he's purposely drowning drowning himself.
We're talking about Robert, right?
Yeah.
Okay, just
drowning himself in booze and whores.
Oh, yeah.
He doesn't care.
Yeah. It does kind of seem like there might be an element of being in denial.
Mm-hmm. It gets on that later.
Yeah, we'll get more into that. Littlefinger asks if there's a man in Ned's service that he trusts completely, and Ned says yes. Littlefinger says the wiser answer is no, but still, Ned should send this man he trusts in his place to visit Sir Hugh and the others. Ned's own comings and goings will be noted, but even Varys can't watch every man in Ned's service every hour of the day. As Littlefinger goes to leave, Ned calls after him, saying he's grateful for his help and perhaps he was wrong to distrust him. Oh, Ned.
Oh, Ned.
Littlefinger says Ned is slow to learn, that distrusting him was the wisest thing he's done since arriving in King's Landing.
Hint, hint, wink, wink.
Ah, Ned. Take a hint, Ned! What do you think of these types of chapters? Lots of talking and politics.
Kind of boring, but if you push through them, they're really informative. Like,
they are
you
very
really see
informative,
a lot how he's slowly figuring out what's going on. All the games being played around the castle. It's kind of freaky.
A Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones.
That's the end of that chapter. So, Ned's finally got some possible leads that he's gonna have his homies check out for him. Alright. Chapter 26 is Jon. God, I feel so old and ill and life.
Yep.
Okay. Let's forget life and get into Game of Thrones. Chapter 26 is Jon. Jon is in the yard teaching someone named Darian how to deliver a side stroke when the fattest boy he had ever seen walks into the yard. Hey! Jon doesn't recognize the sigil he is wearing, which is a striding huntsman. The boy is awkward and says he was told to come here for training. Pip whispers to Jon that the boy is a lordling and comes from somewhere near Highgarden. Pip has traveled the 7 kingdoms and brags that he can tell what you were and where you were born just from the sound of your voice.
Ooh.
Wow, that's a good skill.
Yeah.
Could put that to use. Get him over to King's Landing. Get him to help out Ned. Sir Alistair Thorne immediately insults the boy, saying that they must have run short of poachers and thieves down south, and now are sending pigs to man the wall. What a fucking dick.
This guy.
The boy is sent to get armored up, and Donal Noy has to adjust every piece of armor just to make it fit him.
Didn't he bring his own armor that fits him?
Yes. Yes, he did.
I would think, like, just paint it black. It fits him already.
Oh. Yeah, I guess so.
Instead of having to, like, make new armor for him.
Yeah, because his armor is, like, silver or something. Why didn't they just do that? Maybe it's not that easy to paint metal at that time. I don't know.
Maybe he also just wanted to humiliate Sam some more.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't put it past him. Alistair's a dick.
Mm-hmm.
So, once he's dressed for battle, Sir Alistair puts the fat boy, whom he's calling Sir Piggy, against Halder, who Jon knows is a hard hitter. The fight lasts less than a minute before the boy is on the ground, yielding, but Sir Alistair won't end the fight. Instead, he orders Halder to hit the fat boy with the flat of his blade until he gets up. So Halder starts hitting him, and the boy is screeching in pain. Jesus. So Jon steps forward, but Pip stops him. Halder keeps hitting the boy, and Alistair keeps encouraging it, until Jon can take no more. He shouts at Halder to stop. Sir Alistair coldly reminds Jon that he's the master-at-arms here, but Jon ignores him and says to Halder that there's no honor in beating a fallen foe, and Halder seems to take in these words because he lowers his sword.
It's a lot of respect he's earning from everyone.
Yeah.
That they're following his orders instead of what's his face, douche Noggle.
Alistair.
Alistair Thorne.
Yeah, definitely. It makes me wonder if it's part respect, part fear, because there was the one boy that they had to threaten.
Yeah.
Oh, but that comes later.
It does.
Oops! We'll get to that.
So I guess it's mostly respect.
At this point, it's respect. Mixing up my shit. This is what happens when I'm, like, watching the show and reading the book and going back and editing the podcast. So I'm, like, listening to all these different... So then Thorne pits Halder and 2 other boys against Jon, saying, 3 of you ought to be sufficient to make Lady Piggy squeal. All you need to do is get past the bastard. Jon tells the fat boy to get behind him and braces himself for the assault. But then Pip and Gren join him to make it 3 against 3. This definitely did not happen in the show.
No.
In the show, Jon fought off 3 dudes by himself.
Yeah. He had a badass, can't you see?
Yeah, but in this version, it's like, yes, Jon is a great fighter, but he also inspires people.
Loyalty.
Yeah.
Lord Commander is seeing this shit.
Mm-hmm. The fight commences, and Jon and his boys defeat the others. I just skipped that whole thing.
Yeah, we'll get in there.
Afterwards,
it's just a fight.
Yeah, it's just a fight. Afterwards, Sir Alistair is so disgusted he just walks away, ending the session for the day, and the yard starts to empty. Jon struggles to take off his helm because his shoulder had been hit pretty hard in the fight, and the fat boy comes over to help him remove it. He introduces himself as Samwell Tarly of Horn Hill. Samwell! 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 He's come to take the black. His father is Lord Randall, a bannerman to the Tyrells of Highgarden. So, Pip was right that Sam was a lordling and from somewhere near Highgarden. Wow, Pip!
He knows his shit!
Sam used to be Lord Randall's heir. The way he says used to be is fucking sad.
Yeah, you're like, okay, what happened?
Yeah, there's clearly a story here. Jon introduces himself, as well as Gren and Pip. Sam thanks them all for the help, but Gren doesn't understand why he didn't get up and fight back. Sam says he wanted to, but he couldn't. He says he's a coward. His father always said so. The boys are all stunned that this boy would call himself a coward. Sam then apologizes for being the way he is and walks off. Oh my god, that's fucking heartbreaking. There's clearly some issues there. Jon calls after him that he'll do better tomorrow, but Sam says he won't. He never does better. Okay, this is getting into the realm of... It's getting to the realm of emotional abuse, is what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
That afternoon, as Jon is scattering gravel over the icy footpaths atop the wall, he thinks about Sam and, oddly, Tyrion Lannister. He wonders what Tyrion would think of Sam. Tyrion had told him once that most men would rather deny a hard truth than face it. Jon thinks that the world is full of cowards who pretend to be heroes. It takes a strange kind of courage to admit to cowardice as Sam did. What an interesting view on it.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that Jon is like, what would Tyrion think?
That's so
That is
cute.
so great. Jon clearly has a lot of respect for Tyrion.
Yeah. We took a liking.
At the evening meal, Jon sits with Sam instead of with his friends. Jon introduces Ghost to him, saying that the direwolf is the sigil of his father's house. Sam says a striding huntsman is his sigil. Jon asks if he likes to hunt, and Sam says he hates it, and he looks like he's about to cry. Oh, Sam. Jon asks why he's always so frightened, but Sam doesn't answer. Jon then stands and says they should go outside. As they walk, Sam says he never thought Castle Black would be like this. All the buildings are falling down, and it's so cold. Sam hates the cold. Me too, Sam. He's never seen snow until last month as he was traveling north to the wall. When Sam takes a look at the wall, he shivers at the thought of being on top, saying he doesn't like high places. Jon is like, bruh, are you afraid of everything? Why the fuck are you here at the Night's Watch? Sam then bursts into tears, and he sits down on the ground. Jon just stands and watches. He clearly doesn't know what to do. It's like that awkward thing where guys don't know how to deal with emotions.
Hey, I don't know how to deal with emotions from other people.
Actually, yeah, I guess I'm kind of the same.
That's like, we're like really close friends, but if it's like, say, a coworker, I'll just be like,
yeah.
pat.
Right? Like, do I hug you?
Not
do
even.
I just stand here and watch you? Like, actually, yeah. Alright, Jon, I'll give it to you. But Ghost knows what to do. He starts licking the tears off Sam's face until Sam and Jon are both laughing. Jon then sits with Sam and tells the story of how they found the direwolves. He talks about Winterfell and how he often dreams he's running through the castle looking for his family, but can't find them anywhere, and how he always ends up at the crypts, knowing he has to go down there. But when he starts to descend the stairs, he wakes up every time. What's this supposed to be about? I feel like I should know what this is about. Should I? Why are you looking at me like that?
I'm trying to figure it out too.
Oh, I thought you were looking at me like accusatorily. Like,
No.
How do you not know what this is about, you dumb bitch?
I think there is too. I'm wondering if it's like hinting on to not being a Stark and he doesn't belong in the crypts.
I get it.
Oh.
I get it. Okay. He's running through the castle looking for his family, but he can't find them anywhere. Because they're not his, But guess where his is? In the crypt!
Oh.
Because down there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to bleep a lot of that.
Spoilers!
Yeah. I'm gonna have to bleep it in a way where it makes sense for those who know the story, but then isn't revealing anything for those who don't. Yeah. That's gonna be fun.
Have fun!
Jon also thinks about his uncle Benjen and how he's still missing. Several rangers had gone out searching for him and found a few Fuck, I'm starting over. Several rangers had gone out searching for him and found a few traces, but the marks stop abruptly at some point and all trace of him vanish. Jon asks Sam if he dreams of Hornhill, but Sam says he hated it there, and that's when he tells Jon his story.
Oh.
Here we go. Prepare yourselves. The Tarleys are an old family, honorable, and bannerman to Mace Tyrell, Lord of Highgarden and Warden of the South. So that's the Warden of the South. It's the Tyrells. We were discussing this.
Oh,
Who it might be before, and we thought maybe it'd be someone from Dorne.
Starks, Tyrell's really struggling. West is the Lannisters.
Tywin.
And the East is who again?
It was the Aarons.
Oh.
But now it's going to Jaime.
So more Lannisters.
Yeah. Sam is the eldest son of Lord Randyll Tarly, making him heir to rich lands, a strong keep, and a legendary two-handed greatsword named Heartsbane, which is made of Valyrian steel and has been passed down from father to son for near 500 years. But Sam grew up plump, soft, and awkward. He loved music, books, kittens, and dancing, despite his clumsiness. And he couldn't stand violence or blood. Sam's father hired dozens of masters-at-arms to try to turn Sam into a knight, and even once hired warlocks from Karth with white skin and blue lips, who made Sam bathe in the hot blood of dead aurochs, which is the cow-like animal, to make him brave. But it didn't work.
Jesus Christ!
That is, like, traumatic.
Yeah!
Like, here, just have a nice, relaxing bath in this
imagine that
hot blood.
Smell?
Oh, God. Ew. Yeah, but Sam only grew fatter and more frightened. Lady Tarly, Sam's mother, finally birthed a second son, and from that day on, Lord Randyll ignored Sam, devoting all his time and energy to the younger boy. But Sam was fine with that. He was left alone with his music and books, until his 15th name day. He was awakened and brought into the woods, where his father told him that he wasn't worthy of Heartsbane, or inheriting the Tarly land. So he decided Sam will announce that he wants to take the black, and forsake all claim to his inheritance. And if he doesn't, quote, "Then on the morrow we shall have a hunt, and somewhere in these woods your horse will stumble, and you will be thrown from the saddle to die, or so I will tell your mother," end quote. Holy shit. That's what Sam's own father said to Sam.
Sick.
He threatened to kill him! Oh my god, that's so fucked. Sam needs a supportive daddy like Ned. After Sam has done his story, he and Jon sit in silence for some time, until Jon says they should head back to the common hall to listen to Darian sing. Darian was an apprentice singer before coming to the wall, and he's pretty good.
Ooh.
Jon tells Sam that sometimes Toad joins in the singing, but Pip says Toad's voice is piss poured over a fart.
What the fuck?
No, that's fucking funny. That sounds like something Eric would say.
Right.
Piss poured over a fart.
It's definitely a guy.
Sam wants to hear them both, but he asks Jon if he's going to have to fight again tomorrow, and Jon says yes. So Sam decides he should get some sleep instead, and he leaves. Jon returns to the common room with Ghost, where the others ask where he's been. He says he was with Sam. The other boys start to laugh and make fun of Sam, but Jon snaps at them to shut it, and he tells them all how it's going to be with Sam from now on. Everyone agrees with him except for Rast. I believe Rast was one of the rapers, if I'm remembering correctly.
I think so.
Okay. So during the night, Jon, Gren, Pip, and Ghost pay Rast a visit while he's sleeping, and threaten him. From that day forth, none of the boys hurt Sam in the yard. They stand their ground, but never attack back unless Sir Alistair shouts at them. Even then, they'll just give Sam a little rap on his armor. Sir Alistair rages and calls them all sorts of names, but Sam remains unhurt. Wow, all these boys listening to Jon. Mm-hmm. Just because Jon was like, "Thou shalt not hurt Sam. This is my decree." Sam starts to join Jon and the boys at dinner, and even joins in their talk and jokes. One night, Sam visits Jon and thanks him for what he did. So Jon never told Sam what happened. Sam's just a smart boy, and he figured out that Jon must have done something. And Sam says he's never had a friend before. Mm-hmm. I know. But Jon says they aren't friends. They're brothers. It's so cute. But then, something kind of bittersweet. Jon thinks about Robb and Bran and Rickon back in Winterfell. He loves them, but he has never felt like one of them, thanks to Catelyn Stark. That fucking hoe.
Bitch.
Now Castle Black is Jon's life, and his brothers are Sam, Gren, Halder, and Pip. And Jon thinks that his uncle was right, since Benjen once told him that these men at the wall would become his brothers. And Jon wonders if he will ever see his uncle again. Yeah, so it's kind of like Jon saying goodbye to his actual half-brothers a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of sad. But I'm glad
it was bound to happen.
Yeah.
He had to.
Yeah.
Disown his previous life.
It's still sad.
Yeah.
Like I said, bittersweet. It's like, good, this is what he needs, but sucks. Oh my god, why am I reading so much? It's me again.
Yeah, I have a whole bunch in there.
Fucking Eddard again? Eddard!
Yeah, goddamn.
Just I'm joking. Oh, I can't believe I just said that. I actually feel so bad. Okay, chapter 27 is Eddard again. The commander of the city watch, a man named Janos Slint, is complaining to the king's council about the trouble being caused by the hand's tourney. Ned corrects him, calling it the king's tourney, as he wants no part in it. We get it, Ned! The commander explains that knights are arriving from all over the realm, and for each knight comes 2 free riders, 3 craftsmen, 6 men-at-arms, 12 merchants, 24 whores, and thieves as well. And the intense heat is also making everyone feverish. Ugh. Yeah, gross. There have been riots, fights, robberies, murders, and rapes.
Ew.
He tells Ned that he needs more men to keep the peace. Ned tells him to hire 50 new men, and tells him that Lord Baelish will provide the coin. Littlefinger's like, huh? So Ned says that if he can scrounge up enough to pay for this tourney, he can scrounge up enough to keep the king's peace. Ned then promises 20 of his own men to the commander. Shoulda kept them, Ned. After the commander leaves, Ned turns to the others and voices his displeasure with the tourney. Grand Maester Pycelle says that the realm prospers from these events. They bring the great the chance of glory, and the lowly a respite from their woes. That sounds like some bullshit that the high-class people would be saying. Whereas the low class would be like, can you get these fuckers out of my town? They're trampling my crops. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Littlefinger adds that it also puts coins in many a pocket, and jokes about the whores walking bow-legged and jingling with each step. Jesus. Renly laughs and says they're fortunate that Stannis, his and the king's older brother, is Wait, is Stannis the oldest? No.
No.
He's a middle child. Sorry, I wrote other, but I said older. His and the king's other brother.
Sounds like other mother. Like the weird one.
Oh. He's the middle child, so.
That guy.
The other one. He's not with them. Fuck. I need to start this sentence over. Renly laughs and says that they're fortunate that Stannis is not with them, as he once proposed to outlaw brothels. When he did, the king asked him if he'd also like to outlaw eating, shitting, and breathing. Renly wonders how Stannis ever got, quote, that ugly daughter of his, end quote, as he seems to think of sex as a duty rather than a pleasure. Also, what the fuck?
Harsh!
Renly, shut your ass up! Ned doesn't laugh, because he's Ned and we love him.
I don't think he laughs much at anything.
I mean, yeah, it points out earlier that Starks don't really have a sense of humor at all. He wants to know when Stannis will return from Dragonstone to resume his seat on the council. So at this point, we don't know what Stannis is doing in Dragonstone at all yet, right? Okay.
I have no idea what he's doing.
Yeah, we have no clue what he's doing there. Later, when Ned is back in his chambers, he looks at the book that Jon Arryn had asked for. Clearly it's been delivered by this point. And it's called The Lineages and Histories of the Great Houses of the Seven Kingdoms, with descriptions of many high lords and noble ladies and their children, by Grand Maester Melion. This is boring as fuck. The book is over a century old and definitely makes for ponderous reading. But Ned is sure that Jon Arryn asked for it for a reason, that there must be some truth hidden in its pages. So he opens the section on House Lannister, hoping something will leap out
at him?
Hoping something will leap out at him. But nothing does. 'Cause you're on the wrong page, Ned. You're on the wrong page. I'm like shouting into my laptop. Should be shouting into the book. Because he can hear me that way, right? On the wrong page, Ned.
You hear that, book?
I need some cough medicine. Oh, shit. That reminds me.
You want some?
Yes.
I'll feed you after this.
That reminds me. When I was at Brandon and Christine's, after we made donuts, and ate all of them, there was a lot. They were really good, though. After that, I was also very sick, so they fed me some cough medicine, like the liquid kind.
Yeah.
And then I also took one of the Tylenol cold tablets, but I took one of the nighttime ones mistake.
Oh, no.
By mistake. I had intended to open one of the daytime ones, but I stupidly didn't look at the package.
Once I had a cold medicine, that was daytime and nighttime, and then the nighttime ones were the yellow, and the daytime ones were the dark blue.
Yeah,
that's fucked up.
That's why.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, it was blue, and I was like, oh, this has to be the nighttime one. Or the daytime one.
Yeah. The daytime one is the
whatever.
yellow.
You know what I'm trying to say.
So you got the yellow one, but it ended up being the nighttime.
I think it was blue, but like maybe it was packaged wrong or something.
Oh, man.
Or I'm just a fucking idiot.
Oh, man.
Which is probably more likely.
Raven's an idiot.
Either way, I opened the one, saw it was a nighttime one, I was like, it's like their medicine. I'm not going to throw it out or just not take it. Because I had opened it already.
Put it in your pocket for later.
Oh, that felt weird too. But I was like, I had taken nighttime ones before. I have some at home that I'd taken, and they never affected me.
Oh.
So I was like, I guess this is fine. It's just one. I'm used to taking two.
No.
So I popped one, and oh boy. It must have blended with the cough syrup or some shit, because I was like cogged out. I was like napping on the table as people were eating around me.
How did you get
like
home?
Christine's whole family's like eating.
Oh, that's so awkward.
And I'm like lying on the table. Then later on we went downstairs. Brandon and Christine go out to like smoke, and so I just lie down on the couch. And then later on I like wake up like really sharply, and they're standing there looking at me. I was like, oh my god, how long have you been there?
How long have you been there?
Yeah, that's true. And then, yeah, I just passed out again as they put on some TV show.
Damn.
Yeah. And then I drove home.
Oh my god.
I, like, couldn't keep my eyes open.
That's so unsafe!
I could, but it was hard. I was like this the whole way.
Oh my god.
But I drove well. I wasn't swerving or anything. But it was like...
still really bad.
My eyes were like squinting the whole way. So, as Ned is looking through this book, there's a knock on the door, and Jory Is it Cassell or Castle?
I was thinking Cassell.
Jory Cassell, Ned's steward, enters the room with news about the hand servants that Littlefinger had encouraged them to question. Jory had spoken with all of them, and none of them were much use at all. There is one thing that Ned notices, however. The potboy had observed Lord Arryn visiting a master armorer to commission a new suit of plate, and the king's brother Stannis had gone with him to help choose the design. There isn't much to this on its own, but the watchman also recalls that Lord Arryn often went riding with Lord Stannis. Ned finds this curious, that Jon seemed to be spending a lot of time with Stannis. They had been cordial, but never friendly from what Ned remembers. Ned then starts to think about how, when King Robert traveled to Winterfell to ask him to be hand, Stannis had gone to Dragonstone, the Targaryen island he had conquered in Robert's name, and he had given no word on when he might return. Interesting. What's going on here? Ned then asks Jory where they went on these rides of theirs. Jory says that they visited a brothel. Ned is bewildered. He's like,
Stannis?
The Lord of the Eyrie and Hand of the King visited a brothel with Stannis Baratheon? As was mentioned in the council meeting, Stannis was not the kind of man to be interested in whores. He is stern, humorless, unforgiving, and grim in his sense of duty. I picture Stannis having sex with his wife, and it's just so robotic.
Done.
Yeah. 2 thrusts and it's over. Ned wants to know which brothel, but Jory couldn't find that information. He thinks the guards may know, though, but Lysa took them back to the Vale with her. Ned realizes that everyone who may know something about what happened to Jon Arryn is far, far away. Ned decides he wants to go see this armorer. He points out that Renly is also the brother of Stannis and the king. It seems that Renly, however, was not invited on these rides. Ned isn't sure what to make of Renly. A few days ago, he had taken Ned aside to show him a locklet.
Eh?
Yeah, it's called a locklet.
A locklet.
It's like, I guess that's a locket. With a miniature painting inside of a lovely young girl.
Oh.
Renly wanted to know if she reminded Ned of anyone, and had seemed disappointed when Ned just shrugged at him. I love Ned. I don't fucking know, dude. The maid was Loras Tyrell's sister, Marjorie, Renly had confessed. There were those who said Marjorie looked like Lyanna, who's Ned's sister, reminder.
Yeah.
His dead sister, who Robert had once loved. Ned had disagreed. He wonders if Lord Renly, who looks like a young Robert, fancies a girl he thinks looks like a young Lyanna, and it strikes Ned as strange. This part was definitely not in the show.
No.
So it's completely new to me, and I have no idea what it's about. At this point, I have no clue. Do you know?
No.
No? You forgot? Yeah, I have no clue where this is going, but I'm curious.
Is there just more shit thrown at him that he's got to figure his way through?
Ned?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm assuming it's going to have more to do with Renly's storyline.
Ooh. I forgot about Renly's storyline.
Yes, but I'm not sure how it fits in at this point.
Okay.
So Ned gets dressed, orders Jory to take his men and begin visiting whorehouses, which Jory seems pleased about. And Ned heads out into the city with his guard. They make their way through the crowded streets. Ned is nervous and feels like he's being watched. 'Cause you probably are, Ned.
Mm-hmm.
As they pass the mud gate, a knight enters with his escort and people shout, "Make way for Lord Beric!" I don't remember who this is either.
Neither.
A guardsman asks the knight if he's here to fight in the hand's tourney, and Lord Beric responds that he's here to win the hand's tourney. Alright, Beric.
Mr. No Name?
Yeah. Beric sounds like Eric with a B.
Does it now?
When Ned makes it to his destination, the master comes out to greet him and immediately begins blabbing about all the things he can make for the hand. Armor, swords, and how impressive his work is. Ned eventually asks him if he made anything for Lord Arryn. The master, Tobbo Mott is his name, says that he was visited by the Hand and Lord Stannis, but that they didn't buy anything. All they wanted was to see the boy. Ned decides he also wants to see the boy. Tobbo Mott suddenly becomes a lot less friendly. So he knows he's not going to be making any money off of the Hand now. But he takes Ned through the armory, out the back door, across the yard, and into a stone barn. Inside, men are hammering and manning the forges. Tobbo calls over a boy about Rob's age, who's very muscly, with blue eyes and black hair. Tobbo introduces him as Gendry, and tells Gendry to show Ned the helmet he made. Gendry shows Ned a helmet shaped like a bull's head. It's raw steel, unpolished, but expertly shaped. Ned is impressed and says he would be pleased to buy it, but Gendry snatches it back and says it isn't for sale. And Tobbo is horror-struck. I love that term as an adjective. Horror-struck. It adds such a specific look of shock. Just like, I fucking love it. He tells Gendry that if the Hand of the King wants the helm, Gendry should gift it to him. But Gendry says he made it for himself. Tobbo apologizes to Ned for Gendry's behavior, but Ned says there's nothing to apologize for. He then asks Gendry what he talked about with Lord Arryn. Gendry says Jon Arryn asked him questions, such as how he was, if he was treated well, if he liked the work, and stuff about his mother, who she was and what she looked like. And he told Lord Arryn that his mother died when he was little, but he remembers that she had yellow hair and liked to sing. Ned wants to know if Lord Stannis asked any questions, but Gendry says all he did was stand there and glare at Gendry. Jeez. Ned studies Gendry's face. The shape of his jaw, the blue eyes, the black hair. Then he thanks him and sends him back to his work. And Ned wants to know from Tobbo who paid for Gendry's apprenticeship. At first, Tobbo tries to say that he simply saw the boy's promise and took him off the street, but eventually admits that a lord paid. The lord gave no name and wore no sigil. He was stout, round-shouldered, not very tall, and brown-bearded. He paid twice, once for the apprenticeship and once for Tobbo's silence. Well, I guess that payment didn't go anywhere, since Tobbo's talking about it now, like, bitch. Ned says that Tobbo must know who the boy is, but Tobbo insists he doesn't. He says that who Gendry was before he came to him is no concern of his. And so Ned decides he likes Tobbo. Ned says that if Gendry ever decides he'd rather wield a sword than forge one, to send him to Ned. Outside, Ned's guard asks him if he learned anything, and Ned says he did, wondering what Jon Arryn had wanted with the king's bastard, and why was it worth his life.
Dun, dun,
Dun, dun, dun. So that's the end of this chapter. So, Gendry, this random, smithy
Who do you think was
guy.
the lord who paid short, fat? Wondering if it was like Varys in one of his disguises.
It could have been. Brown bearded, though. Viserys doesn't have facial hair, but he could have glued some on, I guess.
Take out that tacky glue.
So yeah, Gendry's the bastard of King Robert.
And apparently this whole thing has to do with bastards.
Something going on about bastards and like
These gosh darn bastards.
gosh darn bastards and like something going on with Stannis and Jon Arryn. Stannis was not with Jon Arryn in the show.
Nope.
During these visits.
I don't think
Curious.
he was mentioned much.
He was not. He just kind of wasn't there.
Nope.
They like don't bring him up at all. Huh. Makes me wonder the purpose of that.
They didn't want to confuse the audience with all these names.
There's already enough names they're throwing around. One more isn't gonna, you know? Okay, so that's gonna have to be the end of this episode. Definitely some sketchy shit is happening, and we're gonna find out soon what it all means.
Are you sure it's gonna be soon?
Bitch,
We're
shut
not
up.
even halfway done the book.
Shut up. I'm trying to get them to come back to listen to the next one.
Hey, there's more stuff than Ned.
Yeah, that's true. But we've had so much Ned this chapter.
I know.
Or this episode. Thank you all for listening. If you want more of the podcast, please follow us on Instagram. The podcast is Tigbab Podcast, Tigbab. You can also follow us individually. Mine is Crimby and Jess's is Jess.Egan24. You can also find us on Facebook if you search Tigbab Podcast again, or just search Tea is Good, Books Are Better. You can find the page there. Please also check out our friend Baram Barami on YouTube. He made our jingle that you heard at the beginning of this episode, and he's super dope and deserves all the love in the world. So let's give him some. We also have a Patreon, so if you want to give us some extra support, you can check us out on there, patreon.com/teaisgoodbooksarebetter. We do have some cool tiers with different rewards, so you will get something in return for your contribution, but we do just appreciate you listening as well. Oh my god. I'm putting that in. Alright. Next time, we are going to be talking about
Catelyn.
Ugh.
Sansa. I missed Sansa.
Eddard.
Another Ned.
Yeah. And possibly Tyrion. We'll see if we can get to Tyrion. But
Let's
yeah,
get this tourney started.
we're gonna get started on that tourney and watch who fucking dies. Because there's gonna be a death.
It's going to be Twist. Or is it?
Alright. Enough of that. Thanks for listening. We'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye. Jess?
Bye-bye.
Are you mocking me?
Yeah.